Greetings, Spartan families. My name is Mickey Malcolm, and I'm the principal at Pleasant Middle School. I hope that you and your family are healthy and are having a great summer. The purpose of this video is to give families some insight into the middle school restart plan. You can access all three building plans by going to the Pleasant Local Schools website. Under Healthy Restart, click on Healthy Restart Plan. This will take you to our district plan. And if you click on Teachers and Aides, you will see all three buildings. All three buildings have specific plans. So if you click on the middle school, you will see our middle school specific plan that you can download and take a look at more in depth, more in detail at your convenience. So let's take a look at the middle school specific plan. As you know, Spartan families have two options. Option one is they can send their child to school, or option two is they plan on keeping their child at home and doing remote learning. So if your family's plan is to do option one, there are three different levels in option one, depending on what happens in our county, depending on what happens in our building, etc. The first plan, Plan A, under option one is all students come back to school face to face. If the county or a building has a high number of cases, or the health department tells us that we're going to the next level in the county, we can go to option B, which is a hybrid learning situation, which means half students come on one day, half students come on another day. We would divide them up alphabetically by last name to make it convenient on families. So we might have an A day and a B day. A students come on Monday, B students come on Tuesday. We also have Plan C, which is remote learning. If our county happens to go into purple, I see us going into Plan C. And that will be fully remote learning where all students are at home. I will tell you right now that remote learning, if we happen to go to that, it will not look the same as it looked in the spring. So be prepared for further information if we have to go to fully remote learning anytime during the school year. Under option two, if you plan on keeping your child at home and not bringing them to school, which is understandable, if you choose option two, Mrs. Adams will provide some information about what that online instruction is going to look like for the 2020-2021 school year. If you take a look at the elementary, middle school, and high school plans, they are set up in very much the same way. You'll see if it's highlighted, that's specific to the middle school building. But in general, all three building plans are very much similar. So just some highlights of what you'll see in the middle school plan. Please know that our staff will do daily temperature checks. Our staff is also required to wear a mask. Students, when they are in the classroom, masks are highly recommended, but they are not required. But they are required when a student is transitioning from one class to another. And I will tell you that if Marion County is in the yellow or orange risk level, it will basically be students transitioning from class to class in the middle school. So please know that if they're traveling in the hallways, or your student is on the bus or going to the restroom, we are requiring that students wear a mask when in those areas. Parents, we would like you to take a temperature check of your child before they get on the bus. If they have any of these symptoms, please do not send your child to school. And I know the CDC has added another 4 symptoms, and we'll update that list when we get that information from the CDC. Parents, we also ask if any family member has been exposed to COVID-19, we encourage you to notify the school. A change for this year is that no visitors will be allowed in the building. So even if you have to come sign in or sign out your child, there will be a different routine for signing in and signing out. If you need to anything in the middle school building, we ask that you come to the front office doors, the outside office doors, ring the doorbell, and a staff member will come out to you to take care of your needs. If you're signing in or signing out a child, we will bring an iPad out to you, and you'll use the iPad to sign in and sign out your student. District-wide, there will not be any face-to-face open houses. We will conduct our open house and orientations this year digitally. We will not have field trips. We'll probably be doing Zoom conferences. We'll not be having assemblies or musicals or staff meetings. If you have a child that's on an IEP, those or 504, those special ed meetings will be conducted via Zoom. Please know that we're setting up cleaning procedures in the middle school just as well as district wide. There will be multiple cleanings throughout the day, and we're going to encourage frequent hand washing and sanitizing as much as possible. Students with a temperature, if they come into the office and they have a temperature of above 100.4 degrees, please know that that student will be quarantined in the office in the nurses station, and we're going to contact parents immediately, and we're asking that those parents or guardians, they come in and pick up their child immediately. So it's going to be vital that when you're filling out final forms and registering your child, it's going to be vital that that contact information is up to date and you provide multiple emergency contact numbers in case we can't get a hold of you or your spouse. If you could put multiple grandparents on there, anybody that could come in and pick them up if they have a temperature above 100.4. Students and staff suspected of having COVID will be quarantined at home. The county health department will be reaching out to you as far as what the guidelines are if your child or a staff member is suspected of having COVID-19. Once again, there will not be bus passes granted for the 2021 school year. That is a district-wide decision. So if Johnny wants to ride home with a friend to go to the football game, hopefully we'll have football Friday night, that will not be granted during this school year. We're trying to limit contact tracing. We're asking parents, whatever routine for transportation you establish at the beginning of the school year, you maintain that same routine throughout the school year. So we will not be granting bus passes. As students move through the middle school building, there will be signs on the walls. There will be arrows on the floors as far as the expectations for navigating throughout the building. So we are going to set that up to provide as much social and physical distancing as we can as they navigate through our building. And it goes without saying that students, teachers, and families, we should all be prepared to go to remote or even hybrid learning with little to no advance notice. So, and I know that's a major inconvenience. I know that's hard on families, but that is our reality that we're living with right now. So be prepared to go to hybrid, which is have kids on one day, have kids on another day, or even remote learning with little to no advance notice. So we've set up our plan to give expectations for all stakeholders. So parents, students, teachers, maintenance, and administration in these areas. So as you read down through these are the expectations for these stakeholders in these areas. Parents, as usual, we're asking you to conduct a wellness check on your child prior to them getting to school. Please do not send your child if they have a fever over 100.4 degrees or any of the symptoms of COVID. Please make sure that your child has a mask when they come to school. Do not send them to school without a mask. Students, we've gone over this before, that wearing a mask in class is highly recommended, but not required. But if they move throughout the building or on the bus, that a mask is required when they're transitioning or moving throughout the building. We're asking that students maintain a physical distance from peers whenever possible, and our staff will be available to try to supervise that. We're asking students sanitize. There will be sanitizing stations outside of each classroom where they can sanitize their hands. We're asking that they report immediately to their classroom when they arrive to school. As you can see down below, we are not using locker bays at the beginning of the 2021 school year. So sixth grade parents coming in that are nervous about their student having to navigate a lock on their locker, we are not using the locker bays initially at the beginning of the 2021 school year. So we're asking that students carry a backpack If it can be a clear backpack, that would be preferable just for safety reasons. If that's, but that is not required. Um, you also see that we have one-way hallways in the 7th and 8th grade hallway. The 6th grade hallway, which we cannot do a one-way hallway, will be divided, and we're asking students to stay to the right and students to maintain physical distancing. And our staff will help with the procedures of navigating the hallways in our building. As many of you know who have been in the middle school or have students gone through the middle school before, the middle school in August, even in April and May, the building gets extremely hot. Unfortunately, we have to shut our water fountains down because we cannot share the water fountain. So students will not be able to drink out of the water fountain. Now, as of right now, they can refill their water bottle in the water fountain. But I'll tell you that we've reached out to Peacock Water to see if we can get some water stations set up throughout our building, so that if a student has to refill their water bottle, they can do that at one of those water stations. So please encourage your child, especially if they're on the 2nd and 3rd floor. Even in the 6th grade wing, it gets awfully hot. Please encourage your child to bring a water bottle to school with them. Only water will be allowed. No tea, no pop. Please keep only water in the water bottles. For teachers and teaching assistants, you can see our expectations for the classroom, the hallways, the locker rooms, and lockers and common areas. We will be cleaning at the end of each period. So once a student has gone through a class period, at the end of the period will end about 2 or 3 minutes before the end of class. They will be students will wipe down their area, and then on the way out, they will drop off their sanitizing Clorox wipe or something like that in the trash can in an orderly fashion as they leave the classroom. So just know that the area for the student coming in will be clean when students come in for the next class. You can see our requirements for our maintenance. They will be doing extra cleaning to try to make sure everything's sanitized for students as they go through the building. Transportation and visitors. Again, you see expectations for all stakeholders. For parents, if you're picking up your child, please notify the office in advance. We'll bring your child to the office, and when you get here, we will bring your child out to you. Remain in your vehicle, and we'll send the child out with a staff member, and then you will electronically sign your child out with an iPad. If you're picking up your child in the car line at the end of the day, we do not need a note for that. All you need to do is inform your child, but we do not need a note if you're picking up your child in the car line at the end of the day. If you've had a middle school student in the middle school before, you know that in the past you were able to drop your child off at 7 o'clock in the morning. They would wait outside the main gym doors until it was time to go in. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now because we do not want students congregating outside any of our doors with no supervision from staff. So if you're dropping off your child, we ask that you not drop off your child until 7:15. If you get here before 7:15, you're going to have to line up in the car line, and your child will have to stay in the car with you until someone, a teacher, myself, someone comes out and releases those students in the building. Once again, bus passes will not be granted for the 2021 school year. We ask that you maintain your transportation schedule throughout the school year. Students, when they're on the bus or transitioning in the hallways, they are required to wear a mask. We are going to, for transportation reasons, we're going to load the bus from back to front. So, and then family members will sit together. We're following all bus rules, and we're going to try to maintain physical distancing while on the bus, at the bus stop, and while entering the building. So our buses will not be running to full capacity. I know that Mr. Haley, our transportation supervisor, has reduced some of those numbers. They will still be pretty full. but they will not be running to extreme full capacity as they have in the past. Also, when students enter the building, and I will be sending out a map as we get closer to the start of the school year. When in the past, when students entered the building, it was usually through the back gym doors on the west side of the building. We have a huge bottleneck as students come in. This year, we will have specific areas where each grade level enters the building. So I will let you know what that is. Our building leadership team is looking at that right now to try to make it as convenient for students and parents as possible while keeping your child safe. Also on here, you can see the expectations for bus drivers, the expectations for custodians and administration. We ask that when your child gets on the bus, again, they will need a mask to get on the bus. If they do not have a mask, one will be provided for them, but know that that will also result in a bus conduct. So, because it will be a safety violation. So, again, please make sure that your child has a mask. But if they do not have a mask, one will provide it for them, but there might be some disciplinary procedures that have to go along with that since they don't have a mask. If we take a look at what's happened in the office and health services, for, again, we have our expectations for parents, our expectations for students. If a student comes to the office, we're requiring a mask. Our office, we will set up the office to be a one-way office, so students will come in the office doors. That will be only an in designation. They will exit by my office door, so they're not passing each other closely when they're entering or exiting the office. We have our expectations for our nurse. We have our expectations for our office staff, maintenance, and administration here as well. And you can look at this. You can look at this at your convenience. At any time that you have questions about any of this, please contact me via Dojo, via email. If you want to call the office, our number is 740-389-5167. I will be happy to discuss any of these with you. Let's talk about what the cafeteria is going to look like and how students are going to eat lunch. So obviously in the cafeteria, students have to eat, so they're not going to be required to wear a mask while in the cafeteria. I will tell you that we have 2 lunch periods in the middle school. Each lunch period has about 150 kids. If we physical distance in the cafeteria, we can fit 90 students in the cafeteria. We will have X's marked on places where students can sit. They will be able to sit every other seat, and no student will be seated directly across from another student. So the way we're going to divide it up is about 80 students will eat in the cafeteria. The other 70 students will eat in the main gym bleachers, where they will also be social distanced. There will be X's on the bleacher seats where they will eat in the bleachers of the main gym, but we cannot fit in 150 students and cram those students in to the cafeteria. If it is nice outside, we would welcome students to eat outside. There will be supervision. I will tell you, though, that 2 things. One, if we do that in the early fall, it could be very hot. The second thing is there's not a whole lot of places for kids to sit. So the seating is also limited outside, but if we can get our kids outside to eat anytime we can, we will try to do that. Please know that maintenance teachers will disinfect the cafeteria and the gym after each lunch period. Just an FYI, I know a lot of families do this sometimes, but parents who eat with their child, that is not permitted for this school year. If we are to go to a hybrid learning model, which is half kids on one day, half kids on a second day, it will be divided up by the child's last name or the family's last name. Please have a child care plan prepared if we go to hybrid or even remote learning. Students will come to school every other day. Families coming to school, your family will come to school, or households will come to school on the same day. So we'll have an A day or a B day. It could be a red and black day, however we designate it. Um, the students who are face to face will have direct instruction. The students who are at home will have expectations as well. So, direct instructions for those kids who are face to face. Then, the application part where they're working in modules, there will be expectations. Just because students are at home does not mean that that's an off day for them, that they don't have to do anything. There will still be expectations for those students at home. Now, will they have to Zoom in with their teacher? That is not going to be expected, but there will be some sort of work that's expected for them to complete when they are at home. Parents, we're asking that you monitor your students' progress on schoolwork. Please keep up to date on PowerSchool. We will be developing a school schedule if we happen to go to remote learning, so it will not look the way it looked in the spring. Students, if we do happen to go to hybrid or remote learning, we will be using traditional grades. There's no more pass fail. You're held accountable for the work that you do. If we happen to go to remote learning, we will still follow a school schedule. We'll talk about that here in a second. Students, we're asking you to participate in virtual sessions with your teacher as scheduled. Watch any lessons that's provided by the teacher and complete assignments according to timelines. Take good care of your iPad because that's going to be coming back and forth to school. And then you see our teachers' expectations. We're asking them to create lessons, one that first start with direct instruction. We're going to try to model and have some sort of discussion, collaboration, and then assessments. So there will be expectations for teachers as far as what our online learning looks like if we happen to go to hybrid or if we happen to go to remote learning. Our teachers will have a consistent form that they will be using. We are using Canvas this year, which is a learning management system. It's going to be important that parents know how to access and navigate Canvas, and we will send out our Spartan teachers will send out tutorials on how to navigate these new learning platforms. If we would happen to go to Plan C, which is remote learning, that's all students at home. If our county were to go to purple, or we would have an outbreak in one of our school buildings or in the district, it will look much different than it looked in the spring. So parents, we're asking that when we develop a schedule, which we will develop, and it could start at 8:30 in the morning, that students get up at that time, no more sleeping until noon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then doing the coursework at night. They're going to be expected to follow a certain school schedule during the day. So it will look, again, that's much different than what happened in the spring, but we feel that it's important to keep kids on that schedule and have a continuation of learning. We will still have traditional grades, A, B, C, D, and F. During virtual learning, it will not be pass-fail as it was in the spring. Students will be following a regular school schedule, and we're going to try to be as flexible with families as we can. If you have multiple age groups in your family where the older siblings might have to help out the younger siblings to get them up and get them breakfast or get them lunch, there'll be periods throughout that schedule where we don't have anything so that the older siblings can help out the younger siblings at home. Again, you see our teacher and assistant expectations as well as our tech department and administration. So that is the middle school plan in a nutshell. I realize that I've gone through this extremely quickly, and I apologize about that. But if you have specific questions, I know that I am always available, as well as Mr. Isler and Mr. Ringer. If you have any questions, please email me. It's michael.malcolm, MALCOM, at pleasantstaff.org. You can call me, 740-389-5167, or send me a message on Dojo. I am available anytime to answer any questions. Put your mind at ease about having your child come back in the fall. I want to let you know that we love and care about your kids. Safety is our number one priority. Um, so, any of this bothers you, or you just want to be heard, or you have any questions or concerns, please reach out and let us know. So, we are hopeful that we'll see your scholars back here in August. If anything were to change, we will notify you immediately. Thank you, and have a great evening.